Warriors, Sensei Bill here. Welcome to our Level 1 class on circular breathing, where we're going to cover techniques 1 and 2. Now I know it seems a little strange that we offer a class on breathing, and believe me, I get it. I've had students come to me over the years and ask why they needed to attend a class on breathing because everybody already knows how to breathe already. One student even told me he didn't need to attend the class because he ran several miles a day and his lungs worked just fine. And before I give a student advice as to why they should attend a class, I always try to offer up one of my favorite comments from Hamlet, which is, "There are more things on heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy." And what that means to me is that we should always try to take in new knowledge, and that we should be a lifelong learner, that we should endeavor to empty our cup and learn new things. Because it can help you, and if it can help you, it's going to help those around you. And and if that doesn't work for you, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. You can just put it off to the side, and you certainly don't need to worry about it anymore. Okay, back to breathing. Yes, we all breathe, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But these techniques are not common knowledge, and you're going to need to know them for the Qigong class, the chakra breathing class, the meditation classes, and they definitely help with doing martial arts and training, because it helps to increase the overall amount of air that your lungs hold and can process, which gives you greater stamina and endurance while you're working out. Okay, so what I want everybody to do is I want to just watch me for a second, and when I tell you, I want you to take a big deep breath, hold it for a second, and let it out, and I want you to observe where in your body you take that breath. Okay, so everybody take a big deep breath, hold it for a second, and let it out. Okay, if you're like most people, especially Westerners, you took that breath up here, up in your chest. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody does it. I do it, especially when I'm doing long hours of computer work, or I'm focused intently on something, or watching something like an action movie or a horror movie. Your muscles get all tense and you wind up breathing up here in your chest. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's certainly not going to hurt you. But it would be much better for you if you would breathe using your entire lungs, meaning your lower lungs, your middle lungs, and your upper lungs. That's the way babies breathe. It's the way singers are taught to breathe. And that's the way you breathe naturally at night when you're asleep. When you use your entire lung to breathe, it puts more oxygen into your bloodstream. That helps to reduce stress and tension. It helps to lower blood pressure. It'll help you to relax more, which is definitely beneficial when you're meditating, because it helps you get into deeper meditative states. There are also a number of health benefits to that as well, but we're going to cover that in some later classes. Okay, so before we get started, there's some things you need to remember. If you get lightheaded while you're doing these techniques, just go ahead and stop and breathe normally for a while. If you get dizzy when you're doing the technique, you may want to sit down for a minute and breathe normally, so just put the video on hold and come back to it when you're ready. If you find that you need to let your air out early, that's okay. If you can hold your air longer, that's okay too. And if you find that you get dizzy easily when you're doing these techniques, you can do them sitting on a chair or on a couch. Just make sure you scoot all the way up to the edge so you can expand your abdomen fully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the technique first. I'm going to kind of give a little explanation, then I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and so I just want you to watch, because then we're all going to do it together in a minute. Alright, so to get started, what you do is you put your feet about shoulder width apart, and then you're going to take the fingers of both hands and you're going to put them against your abdomen about 3 inches below your belly button. A good way to do that is just put your thumbs in your belly button, in your navel here, and then just measure off about 3 inches, and then place your fingers there against your abdomen. And what I want you to do is when you inhale, you're going to expand your abdomen or push your gut forward against your fingers, and you're going to fill up your lower lungs. When that gets full, you're going to raise your torso a little bit, then you fill your middle lungs. When that's full, you raise your chest and your torso and fill your lungs completely all the way up to the top. Then you're going to hold it for a count of 5, and then you're going to release it through pursed lips, which means you bring your lips together like this. and blow out through pursed lips, which also helps to create kind of a back pressure that forces more oxygen into your lungs. And when you're done, then you're going to remain empty for a count of 5. Okay? And then you start the technique over. So let me give you a little demonstration. I'm going to put my fingers against my abdomen here. And then when I inhale, I'm pushing my gut or my abdomen forward. And then when that's full, I'm going to raise my torso up and I'm going to fill my middle lungs. When that's full, I raise my chest and my torso all the way up and fill my lungs completely. And now I'm going to hold it for a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm going to exhale for a count of 5. And now I'm going to remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, so what I want you to do now is stand up, place your feet about shoulder width apart, make sure your knees are bent slightly and that both your feet on the floor are facing forward and are parallel, like that, okay? And now put your thumbs in your belly button and place your fingers about 3 inches below your navel, here, like that. Okay, so now let's inhale, and remember when you inhale, you're going to expand your abdomen or push your gut forward against your fingers. Ready? Inhale. Fill your lower lungs, now your middle lungs, and now your upper lungs. Make sure to raise your chest and your torso. And let's hold it for a count of 5. And now exhale for a count of 5. And let's remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, ready? Inhale, fill your lower lungs. Now your middle lungs, raise your torso. Now your upper lungs all the way to the top. Hold it for a count of 5. Now exhale for a count of 5. And remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, let's inhale again. Expand your abdomen out. Ready? Inhale. Now fill your middle lungs. Upper lungs all the way to the top. Hold for a count of 5. Release for a count of 5. And let's remain empty for a count of 5. Once again, inhale for 5. Hold for a count of 5. Release for a count of 5. And remain empty for a count of 5. And inhale for a count of 5. Make sure to fill your lungs all the way up. Hold it for a count of 5. And release for a count of 5. And remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, one more time. Remember, inhale for a count of 5 and fill your lower lungs. Raise your torso, middle lungs. Now chest and torso, upper lungs. Hold for a count of 5. Release for a count of 5. And remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, one last time. Ready? Inhale for a count of 5. Hold for a count of 5. Release for a count of 5. And remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, very good. Now you've learned the first part of the first technique. So what I want you to do is put the video on pause for a second and practice on your own for about 5 or 10 minutes. And I want you to remember to push against your fingers and expand your abdomen and push your gut forward against your fingers to fill your entire lower lungs. When that's done, fill your middle lungs by raising your torso and continuing to inhale. And then finally, fill your upper lungs by raising your chest and your torso. Fill your lungs completely to the top, and then you're going to hold for 5, release for 5, and remain empty for a count of 5. So put the video on hold and practice for a few minutes, and when you're done, come on back and I'll show you the second part of the first technique. Okay, we'll see you when we get back. Hello Light Warriors, welcome back. I hope your practice went well, and now we're going to move on to the second part of the first circular breathing technique. Now, while this part of the technique is certainly not a secret, the only teachers that have shared this with me are the Taoist masters. This is an important technique, and it's going to be necessary for when you're doing Qigong, chakra breathing, and definitely energy gathering. So like before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little demonstration. I'm going to explain the technique, so I just want you to watch for a while, and then we're going to do it together. Okay, so like before, you're going to place your feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to make sure your knees are slightly bent. You're going to put your fingers about 3 inches below your abdomen. But this time, you're only going to put the fingers of your right hand against your abdomen. And now you're going to take your left hand and place it against your back, touching your spinal cord directly opposite of your front hand, here like that. Okay? So then, and when you inhale, what you're going to do is you're going to expand your abdomen both forward, and you're going to push backward against your spinal cord and the fingers touching your back. So when you inhale, you're going to push both forward and backward at the same time. And this is going to help to expand your lower lungs even more. And when you get into the energy classes later on, it actually helps your body to act as a more efficient chi pump and move energy throughout your body. But we're going to cover that more in later classes. So what I want you to do now is just watch me for a second. I'm going to take the fingers of my right hand and put it against my abdomen, and take the fingers of my left hand and put it against my back here, directly opposite my front hand. Okay, make sure your knees are bent, and then I'm going to inhale. And ready? Inhale. Hold it for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 5. And remain empty for a count of 5. Okay, that's pretty much it. So everybody stand up and let's do this together. Okay, so make sure your feet are about shoulder width apart. Feet are parallel on the floor, facing forward. Make sure your knees are slightly bent. Let's put your fingers of your right hand against your abdomen about 3 inches below your belly button. and then make sure that you put your fingers of your left hand touching your spinal cord directly opposite your front hand, okay? So like before, what we're going to do is you're going to inhale, and this time you're going to not only push forward against your front hand, but you're going to expand backwards, pushing against your spinal cord and the fingers touching your spinal cord. All right, so let's do it together. Ready? Inhale. Hold it. Exhale for a count of 5. Remain empty for a count of 5. And ready, inhale for a count of 5, pushing forward and backward at the same time. Hold it for 5. Exhale for 5. Remain empty for 5. And once again, inhale for 5, making sure to fill up your lower lungs, middle lungs, and upper lungs, and pushing forward and backward at the same time. And ready? Inhale. Hold it for 5. Exhale for 5. And remain empty for 5. Okay, ready one more time. Inhale for 5. Hold for 5. Exhale for 5. Remain empty for 5. Okay, one last time. We're going to inhale for 5. Remember to push forward against your abdomen and backward against your spinal cord as you inhale, filling your lower, middle, and upper lungs. Ready? Inhale. Hold for 5. Exhale for 5. And remain empty for 5. Okay, well that's it. Now you've learned the second part of the first circular breathing technique. Like before, what I want you to do is put the video on pause and practice by yourself for 5 or 10 minutes. And when you've got that down and you feel comfortable with it, come on back and start the video and we'll show you the second circular breathing technique. Okay, we'll see you when you get back. Hello light warriors, welcome back. I hope your practice went well again. And now we're going to move on to the second circular breathing technique, also known as rhythmic breathing. Okay, this technique is very similar to the first one, except now when you start out, you're going to place your tongue against the roof of your mouth, and we're not going to hold our air for 5 seconds. We're only going to hold it for about a second. We're also not going to remain empty. Okay, this technique is very helpful when you're doing Qigong exercises, and definitely for meditation, as it helps you to get more oxygen into your body and really helps you to relax. And when you hear people teaching meditation and they say get into a rhythmic breathing, this is the type of rhythmic breathing that you're going to use. Okay, so like before, I'm just going to give you a short explanation, a quick demo, and then let's do it together. All right, so make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart on the floor, your feet are parallel on the floor, and that your knees are slightly bent. We're going to put our fingers against our abdomen and our back, right? And then you're going to inhale, again, pushing forward and backward against your fingers, filling your lower lungs, middle lungs, upper lungs. But we're not going to hold it this time. We're just going to hold it, for a second, and then we're going to let it out, and then we're going to inhale again. Okay, and make sure that when we start, you're going to put your tongue against the roof of your mouth, and it's not the upper ridge, the palate of your mouth. It's just against the back of your teeth. All right, so just as a short demonstration, I put my tongue against the back of my teeth here, and then I'm going to inhale, filling lower, middle, and upper lungs, remembering to push forward and backwards. All ready? Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, that's pretty much it. Everybody stand up and let's do it together now. All right, make sure your feet are shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent. Put your right hand against your abdomen, about 3 inches below your belly button. Put your left hand directly opposite your right hand, now touching your spinal cord. Now touch your tongue against the back of your teeth. I know it's going to seem a little strange when you're inhaling and exhaling, but just go with it. You'll get really comfortable with it soon. All right, so put your tongue against the back of your teeth and inhale. Fill your lungs all the way up and exhale. Inhale, remembering to push forward and backward and fill your entire lungs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once again, inhale, fill your entire lungs up with air, hold it for a second, and then exhale. Exhale. And one last time, inhale. Exhale. Okay, and that's it. That's the second circular breathing technique, also known as rhythmic breathing. So what I want you to do again is to put the videotape on hold, practice by yourself for 5 or 10 minutes, and then come on back. We're going to do a quick review. I'm going to give you some important hints and tips about practicing, and that'll be it for this class. Okay, we'll see you when you get back. Hello Light Warriors, welcome back. I trust your practice went well. And now I want to do a quick review and give you some pointers on practicing the exercises. Remember that circular breathing technique 1 is all about expanding your lungs and increasing the total amount of air that your lungs can hold and process. So I suggest you do the exercises at least once or twice a day for at least a month, and then if you can do it a couple of times a week afterwards, that would be great. When you breathe, remember to push against your abdomen and your spinal cord at the same time, and make sure to keep your knees bent, as Qi energy does not flow well through locked joints, and that's going to be important later on when you're doing the Qigong classes. Circular breathing technique 2 is all about using your entire lungs when you breathe and getting more oxygen into your bloodstream. It can be pretty much done anytime at all, standing, doing chores, doing dishes, or sitting at a desk, working on a computer, reading, watching television. Anytime that you can remember to do the exercise, it's going to be beneficial for you. Once you're comfortable with the exercises and abdominal breathing comes naturally to you, you're not going to need to use your fingers anymore, and you're not going to need to press against your abdomen or your spinal cord. Once you got it, you got it. Lastly, we do not suggest that you do these exercises when driving, as we don't want you getting dizzy or lightheaded and driving off the road or getting in an accident. And that's it for this class. As always, if you have any questions, make sure to send an email to info@lightwarrioracademy.com, and we'll get back with you right away. Okay, thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.